Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com, and this will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, April 8th. This will be a technical analysis overview, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used to build good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Before I get to the watch list, I first want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering. So if you like what you see as I go through the video and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used, and why it's so powerful in establishing consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for the free class. Now, one note, depending on when you watch this video is going to dictate a few things. So if you're watching this right now and you can make the class because it is this evening, then certainly get signed up for it. There's a link down in the description box if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage. But I do realize that maybe you already have something on your schedule, or maybe you're watching this Friday morning and you've already missed the class. The good news is it will be recorded. So after the event is done and recorded and I get it uploaded, I'd be happy to send you a link to it so you can still view it. So all you got to do, just drop me an email, clay@claytrader.com, and I would be happy to send you a link to that, to the event after I get it all finished and uploaded. But again, if you can make it live, then certainly get signed up. A couple of quick clarification points. First off, this number you see over here, yes, it is changing around, so you don't need to go to the eye doctor. You're not seeing things. That is changing. This candle here is moving all around because the markets are still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really late day price movement, but the market is also close enough to being done for the day where everything I talk about will be relevant as we head into Friday. And then the next thing is I will be using the 30-minute time frame. So for you beginners out there, what that means is that each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, MNTS, very, very interesting day. And as I speak, very interesting last 30 minutes here. You can see quite the bit of a green candle here that's forming. So definitely, I think a lot of people will be still watching this one. And in my mind, the key level that a lot of people will be watching, so we can, call it self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. But, right there at around $4.60 seems to be a level where, again, no guarantees, but it's more than plausible to think that if the price can work its way up to 460 and then break up through it, that break right there in and of itself could create quite a bit of upwards buying pressure. So definitely keep a close eye on 460 if you're somebody that likes to play breakouts. If you're somebody that's more of a pullback player, then an interesting pullback level that stands out to me at least right down here at $4.10. And then just from an overall pattern perspective, I'll make this all the same color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big momentum move right there. This would be known as a bull flag pattern. So if you like bull flags, if you like this price range down below $5, then here you go. Next one, SOFI, absolutely brutal day today with the gap down. And then after the gap down, the price just continued to bleed and bleed and bleed. But what makes this very, very interesting is you got to give credit where credit's due. Very impressive bounce late day. But that does bring about the valid question, is there any sort of genuine power behind this bounce? Is this truly strong, or is this just some sort of dead cat bounce? And I have no idea, but the good news is by using charts, we can make answering that question very straightforward because it operates under the context of, well, a bounce that's genuinely strong, well, it's going to keep making progress, right? A price movement that's, truly strong is not going to go all of a sudden go back to where it was. That would be the exact opposite of what you would want to see it do. But that brings about the question of, okay, I get it. I agree, Clay. Yeah, the price movement needs to make progress, but how are you defining progress? And that's where charts are a very powerful tool because they allow you to take words and make them very visual and assign numbers to them. So my definition of progress right here at $7.85, meaning, and I'm not saying this will occur, but for example, like if the price did come down to $7.85, behave like that, and then work its way back upwards, what would you still have? You'd still have a set of lows there. You'd have that lows right there. And if you envision those as stair-steps, you would still have stair-steps progressing in the upwards direction. And again, that's what a truly strong move is going to do. It's going to make progress. So in other words, is this bounce strong? Let's see if it can show progress. And by that, I mean at bare minimum, staying up above $7.85. Next one, AMC, and quite a bit like SOFI in the sense of it started off absolutely brutal on the day. Very, very nasty opening period, but it did actually bounce. And now what's interesting is a very important level is coming into play. And in order to get this all established, first you need to do this update. And this update is based on a foundation rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So going into the day, $20 was that main area of support. But during that opening 30 minutes right there, price broke below it. You can see the price tried to back test or try to move back upwards. And of course, right there, classic example of a support turning into resistance. Back down it went. But now all of a sudden with the bounce, the price is certainly within striking distance. So that's going to be the big question moving forward is, can the price actually break back above the $20 mark? And that's the idea of a watch list, right? The idea is to find unique situations, to find situations that catch your eye and then watch them. And based on what they do, if you so choose, you can start to, structure trade plans around them. So the quote unquote watchable level that I think everybody will be keeping an eye on is right up there at $20. Again, very nice bounce. Is this a strong bounce? Well, a good sign that it is, strong and definitely serious about continuing to bounce is getting up above 20. So let's see if it can get that job done or not on Friday. Next one, MDVL, and I love this one for one simple reasoning, and it goes back to the whole idea of self-fulfilling prophecies, but I assure you, people around the world have drawn that trend line. So I'm not trying to impress you by drawing that. I'm not trying to imply that this is a great discovery or a special skill. No, a lot of people have done that. So when you know that a lot of people are watching the same level, wondering the same thing, like I said, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. In my mind, not a guarantee, but completely valid to think that if the price can get up to that trend line and then get a break up through it, that break right there in and of itself could create quite a bit of upwards buying pressure. And, as I speak right now, you can see this final candle. It's creeping up near that level. So it'll be very interesting. It's certainly within striking distance. So we'll see if the price can push up through it. So for you breakout players out there that like to play these, sub $2 stock range, here you go. And then as far as supports are concerned, if you do like to play more so the pullbacks, then right down there at $1.23 would be a key level for that. And then just to illustrate the overall pattern, again, we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big momentum move right there. And to make this a little visual, let's put in the golf hole down here. This would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So if you like bull pennants, if you like stocks that are down below that $2 mark, here you go. Next one, NIO. And overall, a rough day. Yeah, it was nice that the price did, start to bounce late day. But there's still a whole lot of work that needs to be done. Again, what are you talking about work? What does work even mean? Good question, and once again, shows the power of charts because it makes it very visual. So in my definition, the quote-unquote work that still needs to be done, again, don't get me wrong. I mean, that's good that the price is trending upwards, but the main bits that I think would catch a lot more people's eyes are, can the price break up above these key moving averages, pink line being that 200-period moving average, purple line being the 50-period moving average. So yeah, that's nice that the price bounced up, but I mean, does it really mean anything? In my mind, it doesn't, because the price is still well below these moving averages. In fact, you have the purple line that's looking like it's going to eventually cross down below that 200 moving average, which is not exactly what you want to see from a moving average crossover standpoint. As far as levels of support are concerned, if the price does come back down, that key area is going to be that gap close location right down there around 1990. Next one, TWTR Twitter, obviously been in the headlines quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level for just try to keep this as clean as possible. But first update, you've already heard me say it. When levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. And once again, we have just an absolutely perfect example of that. As you see here, price broke down below it right there. And then late day, including the last 30 minutes, you can see the price is trying to get back above that area right there. So that tells us that, yeah, in the very near term, that 48.50-ish area is certainly going to be that initial key level of resistance. If the price can push up through there, the next key level will be that purple line. Again, the 50-period moving average currently valued at $50.25. And then as far as levels of support are concerned, the level here that I think a whole lot of people will be watching, and nothing fancy behind the reasoning other than the fact that that's just where the bleeding stopped today, right down there around 46.50. Next one, SNDL, which at this point, it seems as though the party is over. And maybe you could say, well, geez, Clay, you're just now discovering that. Fair point. But like I said, I was curious to see what the price would do when it got down here around that pink line, which, again, you now know is the 200-period moving average. But after today, I mean, yeah, you can't argue anymore that, well, it's staying within the range of that level, which was a valid argument because supports are not exact specific levels. So you could make that argument. But today, no. I mean, the price is completely separated from it. So that's what, leads me to say that the bears seem to be back in absolute full control. You had that 50-period moving average cross down through the 200-period moving average. And as of now, yeah, things are looking pretty shaky. And now, of course, things could reverse around, but there's nothing really here that's suggesting that some sort of big reversal is coming. You could say that, well, at least it's gone sideways, and that's fine. That's a good observation, a fair observation, but, it's gone sideways before. With fake bounces, there is one. There's sideways fake bounce. There is a sideways no bounce at all. There is sideways no bounce at all. So just because it's gone sideways, in other words, doesn't have me really convinced of anything, especially when it's down below all these levels. So as far as next potential areas of support, because it does just continue to break down through support after support, next key level down there right at 55 cents. Next one here, SBFM, and wow, lost track of this, but look at this last 30 minutes right now. Absolutely beautiful candle, beautiful volume, has surged back in, and a breakout is underway. So that really changes up quite a bit of the dynamic of what I thought I was going to be talking about. So I'm going to get rid of all those lines. They've served their purpose. And now it's all about this right here, the fact that the breakout has occurred. right there at right around $9 was essentially that key breakout point, but that's already happened. So, if you're a breakout player, then yeah, maybe you missed it. But again, what's the idea of a watch list? To find unique situations, to find situations that catch your eye. And in this situation, it's now just all about the question of, wow, is this the start of something bigger? Now think about that. In order to even ask that question, something needs to first happen in the first place. And in many situations, nothing ever happened, so you can never even ask that question. But very clearly here, that has happened. So that brings about the question of, wow, could this be a start of a breakout that puts this thing up over $10 and who knows how far beyond? Yeah, it very well could be. Now, to be fair, there's no guarantees. That's a two-sided coin. So maybe this thing just drifts right back into oblivion. But again, two-sided coin. The flip side is maybe this actually is the start of something much bigger and the price continues to beast mode upwards. But again, that all goes back to we've identified a very interesting situation. So if you like these sorts of circumstances, then it's worth at least watching and seeing if you ultimately want to make some sort of move with it. Next one, SST, a very interesting stock. I'm guessing, I don't know for sure, but just based on how it's moving, probably a relatively low float because it seems as though this thing can move very, very quickly. And overall, a nice little pattern here for him throughout the day. I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. Nice, steady little uptrend. And then you put that up here. So there's a nice little upwards channel here. But I think the level that a lot of people will be watching, I think the dynamic that a lot of people are going to be doing now is they're going to notice, okay, quite a bit of selling right around there, and they match that up with right there. And then you get this very nicely defined trend line. Let's just call it at $28.50. So I know I keep repeating myself, but I want to hammer that home. While nothing is guaranteed, it certainly makes a whole lot of sense as a breakout player to think that if the price can get up to $28.50 and then push up through it, that could create a whole nother, a surge in buying pressure simply, just because people are buying because of that breakout. So definitely keep an eye on $28.50 if you like to play this price range, if you like to play this sort of kind of low float environment, but definitely a very interesting stock, very interesting setup. Next one, TSLA Tesla. Trade this one pretty much every day. I traded it about 4 or 5 times today and did well with it. But I say that just because these annotations are mainly for me, and you can just be a fly in the wall. If you disagree, no problem at all. But like I said, I'm just mapping out levels that I care about and that I'll be keeping an eye on for Friday. But the level that will mean a bit more to those that have watched past videos is that trend line right there, which once again came into play today. Didn't hit it exactly, but wow, pretty amazing that former support level. Already knocked down the price once back there on Wednesday, but then this morning, once again, knocked down the price. So if there is any sort of bounce in the upwards direction, right there around, let's call it 1080-ish, is going to be a very interesting level of resistance that I'm curious about. As far as levels of support are concerned, 2 main levels that stand out. First level going to be down here at, what is that? The 1027 mark. But even before 1027, very curious to see how the price reacts if it can get down there to that pink line, which, like I've said a million times now, is a 200 period moving average, currently valued at 1035. And then these last couple candles here, try to make some moves. Selling pressure showed up. So the first question that I'll be very curious about is, are these last couple candles here a leading indicator of some more selling pressure to come? Will that, get follow through tomorrow? We'll see what happens. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the free live online class. Or like I said, if you already have something on your schedule this evening, or if you're watching this Friday morning, then go ahead, drop me an email, clay@claytrader.com. And after the live event is completed and uploaded, I will send you a link so that you can watch it, whenever best fits into your schedule. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to make these videos, then please help me out with some basic feedback. Hit the like button, leave a simple comment down below. Those 2 things go a long way in communicating to me that I'm not wasting my time, putting in the time and effort to create this content for you. So like I said, little bits of feedback like that really help me out in a big way. So hopefully I'll see you here this evening. And if not, go ahead, drop me an email. Everybody take care. Have a good one.